Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, home of TW3. Are you ready to take your money, business, and life to the next level? You are worth more, and you're about to hear how and why. So buckle up and listen up as we journey to the next level. Please welcome your guides to reach your goals, the TW3 family.
Episode 520. Can we stop talking about the muffins?
Do you think anybody's immediately going to get that, or is that going to need some explanation?
That is the greatest 2-minute bit you have ever sent me. Can we stop talking about the muffins?
You were, in fact, so excited about being involved in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly confidential matter, that you were going to be conducting the examination of Ms. Heard.
She's got her now.
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Bredoff, that is not accurate.
We all know
What
how
is accurate?
incriminating muffins are.
Yes.
We do.
You're
In the
incorrect.
court
That
of
is
law.
not correct. Is your testimony today?
Are these real lawyers?
Tell your husband that you were going to be conducting.
I know I'm interrupting it,
No.
but I'm just thinking here. Amber Heard's wealthy. She has a lot of money. She's got a lot of money to spend.
Yes. And I'm sure that attorney was not cheap.
That's what I'm thinking. That would lead me to believe that she didn't hire a cheap lawyer.
Yeah. So that tells you the most expensive types of lawyers in the most high-profile case. This is the best defense.
This is the best defense that they could come up with.
Yeah.
Well, you told Amber Heard that your husband bought muffins.
Listen,
Did you or did you not buy
I
the
do not
muffins?
want to talk about muffins anymore. Do I look like the muffin man? Good Lord. This is how, folks, we entertained ourselves to and from the Orlando conference this past weekend that we're just getting back from. And
we recognize, I will go ahead and say this. Let's contextualize this just a little bit. We realize this has no importance over anyone, and it's candy trash, right? Like, this case is, it's good for no one, except for Johnny Depp. Obviously, it's been great for Johnny Depp because you watch these clips.
I think it's good in the fact that everything in life you look at, you can learn something from, maybe.
Yeah.
So what can we extrapolate as a life lesson in watching this S show? I'll clean it up for my rating purposes.
We'll clean it up a little bit.
This, catastrophe that's being on display for all to look in. What lessons?
I feel like I can't repeat the lesson I know I learned because I heard it from Joe Rogan and he's got a point. It doesn't matter how good she is at something.
Yes.
How great the person is.
Right.
Is it worth them poo-pooing over your life?
Or literally in your
quite
bed.
Literally in your bed.
That outtake. I don't know what's funnier. Johnny Depp trying his best to
Not to laugh.
and politically correctly say in a court of law that this person just did what they did in my bed. Is that part funny, or
Yes.
what? Which it is, but which is funniest, the actual testimony or the reaction Joe Rogan had?
Yeah,
for
real.
the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my
That was
word!
a pretty good impression. Hey, it's a business show, episode 520 of the TW3 podcast.
And what we're talking about is, how does things get started?
That's the episode today.
How do things get started? And the reason I brought this, the start of things are very interesting. How did you get started in what you do? How did this relationship that turned so incredibly, and I hate to be so schadenfreude about it, but it's like watching an accident in slow motion. You just can't take your eyes up. But then you scratch your head and said, I wonder how this even started.
Yeah, how did this come about?
Why is this even a thing? And what we're going to do today, I thought, Reagan, is we're going to play a conversation that you and Chris and I had down at the conference at the beautiful Rollins College, where we were talking about how his relationship with TW3 and how we came to know him, and how all of that even started, how it even became a thing. And I need to warn our audio listeners that the audio is going to be but what it is, because it was recorded on an iPhone outside while we were just sitting out on the patio talking.
Yep.
And so there's birds in the background, there's airplanes over top, and there's a water fountain in the courtyard down below so there's a lot of ambient noise that I'm going to do my best to engineer out. But
so when you guys are listening to this, if it still sounds like dog crap,
notice that's the best I could do.
That was the best we could do.
The best I could do. But I just think, even
it was a good conversation
because you sent this video of and by the way, it put me in a rabbit hole when I was on the treadmill. We were that night, I guess it was Friday night, I walked down to do my hour on the treadmill, in which, by the way, I was dead on accurate. I would gain 5 pounds from this weekend, and I most certainly did. I weighed in this morning to see what did I gain from Thursday. Did we leave Thursday or Friday? We left Friday. We left Friday, came back Sunday, and I told you, I said, I gained 5 pounds this week. I guarantee just this weekend. And,
yeah.
But your mom says, you'll lose it. It's all water weight. Come on.
It is.
Which I did do 5 miles a day. And so I went back and weighed in and
went away
2 pounds at least. And so eating healthy again, drinking the water. So hopefully we'll get that.
You get back into your habit. It will
get back in my habit. So I'm still trying to work out the relationship I have with food. What can I do and what can I not do?
Well, yeah.
So anyway, but having that conversation, it did sort of, and then watching this, the way things start, why they started, the motivations behind it, the context that led the parties involved up to the point where something was started. It's interesting.
It's incredibly interesting. Yeah. No, funny enough, I had a conversation last night because we had some friends that came over. You can just talk to me, use your words. Hey, bring the mic up. We had some friends over, and I was talking to one of them. He's actually in a pretty, I don't want to say precarious, but like special position, the same way I consider myself, where there's people in his life where he has an opportunity to kind of take over a business if he wanted it.
Right.
Very similar to sort of how it works for me. But in his case, he was just talking about, because they do a lot of manufacturing, and that's the area that, they specialize in. They specialize in special plastics, but he was just telling me about how their business started. And we got on the topic of, a little bit of the relationships and connections that you form. It kind of makes up your business in more ways than you realize. And in, his case, is the person above him, his parent, they're selling the business. But the reason that there's so much value in his business is not just the parts of the equipment that they use and all of that. It's all the people that he's trained up that are specialized in very specifically their field. And it was incredibly interesting because where he is today is all about who he met and how they fostered those relationships. And it was just reminding me of our trip to Florida when we visited Chris, because a lot of where we are today is based off of these relationships that we formed. I mean, if Chris hadn't gotten involved, Lori, Bobby, Gary, we've got so many people, and it's how we've fostered these relationships is a big part of who we are today.
It makes up the brand. It makes up the culture. Mm-hmm. And it does make up the value. I mean, one of the things that I keep telling people, listen, you can go get involved in insurance, real estate, if you're starting a business. If you've got a business, you can join the Chamber of Commerce and different networking. Mm-hmm. But there is just something special about the TW3 network because I don't know of, like, if you're in insurance, well, you're going to be around a bunch of insurance guys, and to the extent that's helpful, sure. But sometimes getting outside of, the echo chamber you live in, there is so much I have learned from salespeople and marketing people and business people that are not in anything close to what I'm doing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's a whole different perspective.
Mm-hmm. It gives a whole new context to the way you could do something, regardless of if it's related to the field you're in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the magic things about our mastermind that comes with joining our membership, our elite membership, is you're going to be around some people, high income, high producing, but more importantly than any of that, high quality characters that are there to learn from you and your story and there to teach and share of what they know in their story.
Yeah.
And one of the things I loved about, there's just something magical that happens when you take some time and cut off the emails, cut off the texts, cut off everything, and get with some people and just talk about the project you're in front of you. Like you and I. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest values we gain from it is just brainstorming on the way down there.
Yeah.
Just talking about, okay, this is what works. This is still not working the way we want it to work. Not necessarily technical components, but just business models and strategies and approaches and things that we're doing. And that's what I've been doing all day today, is building out video assets and marketing assets to start a whole nother campaign that is completely different than anything it's similar and different at the same time, you know. It's
one of my favorite things about our business is that we can get that applicable feedback from our members, and in the fact that, you know, we've created a space and we've got quality people that will tell you this is what we need. Yeah. You know, same way that you and I think about it more as business owners, going, well, this is what we'd like to see, you know, here's our 5-year plan. This is what we see for the future. Right. But also hearing from the people that are involved in, you know.
Oh, Chris gave us some immense feedback. Yeah.
And all it came from was just being able to talk to them and hear, you know.
Just having the time to talk and one-on-one. And it, you know, it was something that, I mean, it was just a simple thing, but it was such a big oversight on our part. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, you're right. Yep. We don't have that, and we really do need that. Yeah. That would help. In the long run, help us, help everyone. I was like, but why have we not done that before?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how you feel, but anytime I have a good idea about something that, and it turns, you know, profitable, or even if it's just in your life, it tends to be the ones where you go, you know, why didn't I think of that?
It's always that way.
Yeah. It kind of hits you. You go, wow, that was an oversight, or that it's just you were blind to it, you know?
It is amazing. It's always, and I think that's part of the hidden strategy to success in everything. We always, in our head, over-engineer everything. Mm-hmm. The ability to go from point A to point B to achieve whatever you want to achieve typically is way more simpler than what you imagine it to be. And that's why you never can find that path, because you're looking in the most complex and complicated ways.
You're looking through a magnifying glass. You need to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, just pull it. Oh, all I got to do is that. Yeah. I mean, it's a way of complementing our strategy in one way, but once someone gets our system and learns a couple of our strategies, it's so simple and so easy to follow and do. Some of the just more do this, put this there, and you'll get this, and then this is the conversation you got to have. Yeah. That is so simplistic that what happens is, and it's a compliment, it's so doable that people take it for granted and start giving information away. That part of the business model here is you're selling information. Mm-hmm. I was like, what are you doing? Well, it's just, and I'll hear, well, it's just you do this. And I was like, exactly. It's just when you know. But when you don't know something, nothing is just when you don't know. Yeah. Well, just comes after mastering something. Well, all I did was just.
Yeah. I think some people almost, and they shouldn't, but it's almost like they feel this guilt because they found something out. And it's like, no. That's how it works.
That's exactly.
It feels simple to you because it hits you, and you go, "Oh, I'm sure everyone," but they didn't. Not everyone thought of it. You did, and that information that you found
is power.
It's power, and it's valuable. Yeah, and you should see it that way. It's okay to go, "Hey, I did a good thing. I found a cool thing. I can make a living off of the things that I have discovered and use."
I will be content for the rest of my life to make a living doing just. Because if I'm doing anything other than that means I'm in a stressful situation where I'm learning and having to, that's what I'm looking for, is just.
Yeah. I love just.
I love just.
Yeah. Well, you ever had a boss and you tell them, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm just. Don't say just. They hate that. But realistically, that's what we want. That's what we seek. You want to be able to go, you know, I just sell a really valuable software that helps people generate leads for their business.
And I just do it this way where I never have to cold call, and I just have to have this, or I just do this, and I get paid this.
It's the moment you start going, oh, well, I do this and this and it's like, you're losing.
And then I have to do this, and then over here, and then I have to, I'm a plate spinner, man. I do fit. Well, that you're struggling.
Yeah. And it's like, it's impressive. And I know it takes work to be able to do It does. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot out of you. But at the end of the day, if you can make your just that valuable, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Why would you not?
I was having a conversation with an old friend of mine today, and he says, so what are you doing now? I said, I just talk on a microphone.
Yeah.
Now, that's very deductive, and I know I'm reducing it down to nothing. But, I mean, there's a little more behind that. But at the end of the day, just talking on a microphone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is. I'm just, and that, what happened was I just figured out how to get it out in front of people that don't even know me, wouldn't know me. Mm-hmm. And I just figured out how to,
Well, think about it. How did this start? Just looking for leads.
Just looking for leads.
Just looking for leads.
That's all I need. I just need a lead.
I just need a lead.
So I can make just one sale. Yep. I just need a sale today. Yep. Now I just need two.
Yep.
But I'm always looking for just. Well, guys, I hope you enjoy this conversation. I think we went for 25 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's about a 25-minute conversation.
25 minutes. And you said, hey, that wasn't but 5-10 minutes. I was like, no, my battery's going down because I've been using the phone all day. So I had to cut it short.
No, it was a great conversation. Obviously, they're going to listen here in a second, but I will say it's a good conversation. It's
a good conversation, and it illuminates some things that we honestly struggle with from time to time here, and that is, should I offer this opportunity to this person or not? Mm-hmm. And I've been struggling with it for 14 years. And statistically, I always err on the side of caution, just because statistically. But you'll hear Chris say some strong language about saying, I was one of those that you would have done something with, and I'll let the interview speak for itself. But I think it's very illuminating. So whether you're a member or not, I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this conversation. So without further ado, here's our conversation with Miller Time. And we were actually down there in High Life headquarters having it.
Rap session. Just chilling out. TW3.
The conversation.
The conversation component of this.
It's wherever you decide you're taking your talents.
That's right. So we were having a conversation in the little Italian restaurant at lunch. It was a good place. It was a great place. And I think we decided we want to record this conversation because it was so illuminating, and it really, I think other members of TW3 and prospective members of TW3, I think would find great value in it. And that is how we met and how you even came to be a member of TW3. Because people hear us on the podcast all the time, me and Reagan bantering back and forth. They're Miller Time down there in High Life headquarters. We're down here in High Life headquarters right now.
Here we are.
And here. We're
Picturesque Florida.
Picturesque Florida at Rollins College. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And, but we met, I guess it was our second conference in 2019. And that conference, if you remember, was for elite members only. No, it wasn't. That was the one where we allowed other people to come. But we had special breakout sessions that we were only going to allow our elites to come to because we're talking about referral marketing and some other stuff. And I get a call from Gary Green. He's about to get on an airplane. He said, hey, I got this guy driving up from Florida. He said he's going to come, but he'd only come if he could get in all the sessions as elite member. So we got to upgrade him today. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, well, I'm getting on a plane, so I'm not going to be able to pay you until I get there. So just take care of it. Nice. And then
Appreciate you, Gary.
this guy comes in with a bow tie, dressed to the tens.
Some rando guy.
Dressed to absolutely dressed to the nines.
Better than everybody.
Looking like he should be the one on stage speaking, not me. And he comes up, hi, I'm Chris Miller. And from that conference, on has been nothing but seeing a rocket ship. So tell the people how you got involved, you know, the backstory a little bit if you want about where you were at, because you used some strong words in that cafe we were eating at. That you said, don't let me misquote you, but Terry, I would have been one of the ones you threw away.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have been one of the ones you threw away because I didn't have any money, for one. I didn't have a job, for two. And I only had like 50 bucks in my bank account at the time, right? Because I didn't have a job anymore, right? I got fired from my job because, you know, they didn't like the fact that I would come in a little bit later because of my son's school. Couldn't get him to school by the time they wanted me at work. So even though I was one of the top guys in the company, they didn't care. They, you know, rules is rules is what I was told. You know. So, but that's what happens when you work for others. Sure. You know. I like working for me a lot more.
He treats you a lot better than other people.
I do. I'm in picturesque Orlando, Florida, over here at Rollins College right now.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm enjoying it, and I'm doing this in enjoyable life because of TW3. You know, at the time, things were not going my way, and I was looking frantically for a job because I had, you know, rent due and I had a kid to feed. You know what I mean? I was a single dad all of a sudden. And things were going on, and you know, you got to make it happen, right? So I found an ad for a job. Seemed like a job. Turned out to be a business opportunity and a change of lifestyle. And I looked into it very hard, because I was not sure. I did have the ability to put it on my credit card. That would have maxed out my credit card, and I was like, oh, I might need that in a pinch for food and stuff like that, you know, gas for the car. But I took the gamble with Gary, and I said, Gary, let's do this. I think I can make my money back. I checked out all the reviews, and all the negative ones I saw.
You saw what they were.
I saw them for what they were. I was like, okay, well, this guy's a moron. This guy didn't try. This guy never probably put any effort into anything his whole life. He just likes to complain. So, and then other people were saying, you know, great things, and this has helped me so much. This has done this for my business and done that. And I said, there's a heck of a lot more of those than there are these. And these ones I'm already poking holes in, and I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about Terry Wilson, but I'm poking holes in all these things that are here. So I said, I'm going to look at it for a learning experience that it is, because it'll be a training experience, teach me how to market in a world that I don't really know anymore. Yeah, the world had changed since I've been away in the military for a decade. You know, and so I called up Gary and I said, let's do it. I put it on my credit card, gave him the last of my money, and started hustling and moving, you know, because I had to get it back. So when I met you, I had been in for about 3 months, and I was able to pull in about $27,000, $26,000, something like that, I think, at the time. And I had to work my tail off to do that, but it had come in, boom, 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 and I said, all right, I'm going to go to the conference, because I wasn't going to go to the conference. I was, you know, because it was expensive. And I changed my mind at the last minute. I said, I'm going to go to the conference if I can be part of everything and learn more. So I called up Gary that morning. I said, Gary, I want to go to the conference. He's like, oh, all right, man. All right. I was like, but I don't do it unless if I'm part of everything. So what I need to do, you need to upgrade me to elite. Can we do it now? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I can call Terry. I was like, yeah, just do it, and I'll pay you when I get there. And that's what it was. And so, you know, at least he believed me, I guess, because he could have been like, well, you pay me now, and then I'll do it, you know. But he didn't. He gave you the call. So
yeah, he gave you the call.
That's cool. And while I was there, that's where I had the experience that launched me to where I'm at.
Reagan, he used the word, I would have thrown him away. I want you to clarify, what does he mean by that? Because what do we do a lot, probably too much, even to the chagrin of some of our members, we're not judging them based on their money necessarily.
Right. Well, I mean, there's the obvious side of slightly trying to protect our asses, but there's the side where you go,
No, that's mostly what it is.
It's mostly that, but seriously, well, think about it though. We do the podcast, we have an audience, we've got regular listeners. I don't think either of us could really sleep if we're sitting here saying, no, you only got $200, that's fine, let me take your money. Like, that's, because that's not what we're about.
Exactly.
It's just not. Like, we're not just in it to take you, if we want to help. There's a solution, it's a business solution, and if you're the right mindset, if you're like Chris, and that was the thing, I remember our first impression of him, meeting him at the conference, and there was two things. Number one, which this one's a bias because it's us, but it was like, that guy's funny.
Yeah.
It's just like, because we like people with a sense of humor.
If you make us laugh, we're automatically.
But the second thing was, and you use this all the time, but he said, he's going to make it happen. And that's a little slang that, Southerners like to use, but it's true. It's like, he's not going to just lay down. It's like, shit's tough. He's going to make it happen. And so, when we're on the podcast, we would say, we would have been the ones to throw them away. It just simply means that we always kind of add that caveat in towards, like, look, we're not interested in, like, taking the last bit of your money. If it's not a good place for you right now, come back later. Maybe it's not a fit for you at all, and that's okay. For us, it's mostly just that, we're not here to force your hand, but...
Well, we're trying to protect ourselves from those reviews he read.
Right.
And every one of those were personality types that don't respond to stress the way you and most high performers respond to stress. Most people, when they have stress, they shut down. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. They become less creative. They become less ambitious. They become less forethought into what tomorrow can look like if I would do this. Their whole rationale and ability to reason and the logic. There's a whole, I know you studied psychology, you've studied psychology, I've done the Myers-Briggs things, and there's one of the things that they taught us when we were doing personality assessments of people. There's 8 dichotomies. You're either outgoing or introverted. You're either a logical thinker or you're a values thinker. You either perceive things from a broad perspective or a narrow perspective. You either put out the world when you're speaking finite deadlines or more open-end. So you got those dichotomies. And these dichotomies is what makes up. But here's the thing I didn't know about stress. And everyone's like this unless they can train their brain to do otherwise.
Train your brain.
And you have done this. And a lot of high performers have done this. And that is, when you are under stress, your entire personality inverts. So what happens is, let's say for instance, I am a very intuitive perceiver. I perceive things through intuition, not through sensory. In other words, this. I see the broad picture and I basically intuit everything.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm under stress, what happens is I start micromanaging and looking at every single detail because I'm under stress. So my brain goes in this fight or flight. I better panic because I'm missing something. So look this. So I have to be intentional. No, this is who I am. Doesn't matter what's going on around. This is it. Because if I don't, I'm actually using the weaker cognitive function that I actually have. Because being an intuitive perceiver or a sensory perceiver, being a value-based decision maker or a logic-based, that's how you were born. You're either left-handed or you're right-handed. Yeah, I'm sure you could write right-handed, but that's not your natural hand. And you're going to be slow at it. You're going to be... And so when you say, I would have been one of those that would have been thrown away, I'm trying to say, this person might be under stress, and so they're using their weakest cognitive function in all areas of their life, which means I'm going to say, hey, if you want to make money, do this, and they didn't hear a thing. Because they're using their weakest attributes to perceive right now because they're under stress. And so it's not that we're trying to throw you guys or anybody away. We're just saying mindset matters more than anything else. If you get that mindset right, the money will follow.
It will.
Money follows a good mindset. It just does. That's why we spend so much time on it.
Look at us right now. We're proving it.
Yeah. I mean, you put on your first conference here. It didn't go as planned.
Nope.
It wasn't smooth.
But I pivoted, and here
But
we
you
are.
pivoted, here we are, and we're getting value out of it. That is what it takes to win.
Eisenhower said, in preparing for battle, plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. You got to know how to pivot. You got to be prepared.
Exactly.
You know, I just doubled down. I said, okay, let's do this.
Let's do it. Well, my last podcast, I was talking about that passage where it says, you know, man makes plans, but God orders steps. The way I break that thing down is no one wants to do anything until they know step by step how to do it. Well, guess what, folks? The step by step never comes. It never, ever comes. You can make a plan, you say, I'm going to do this, and it always changes. That passage to me says, I'm responsible for making a plan and taking the first step of action. And then when I make that first step, what next? Because it's not going to go as planned.
Yeah, what next? And be prepared to take that next step, that next series of action.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you bought a copy of my book today. Thank you for that, by the way. And that book was all about that. It's all about taking those series of action steps and keep doing it until you get to the last one.
Yeah.
And then don't stop there. Action on it.
Go past the finish line. Don't spike the ball in the 5-yard line.
How many people have gone and said, okay, I'm interested in something.
Yeah.
Right? And then they've gone and they've done a little research into it. And they said, now I'm more interested in it. And then somebody says, okay, well, now there's a cost to it. And they go, okay, I'm still somewhat interested in it, but less, you know. And then somebody says, but if you give us this cost, here's the value you'll get out of it. And then they go, I just don't know. They were that close, you know. What if I had said, you know what, I'm going to need that $700 as a backup because I don't know what the future holds. And I didn't join TW3 with Gary. Where would I be right now? I don't know. I wouldn't be sitting right here at Rollins College with you
Explain to
guys.
people in the first year of joining TW3, what did you make?
I want to say off the top of my head somewhere around 145 for the year.
145. And what did you
I started slow,
Yeah.
you know, but
145 grand. I mean, give guy a break. Come on.
Well, here's a fun thing to remember about the way you joined too, because in 2019 we didn't have the CRM or the app or the function that we had. We had just a WordPress site.
All right.
Now I would argue we had some good training. I think Chris would argue that as well, because Chris didn't join the business initially.
He didn't use any components. It was just the training.
It was the training. It was the mindset. It was, you know, the
yeah, you did an interview with me and you asked me what tools are you using. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not.
Nothing that you sell.
I don't know how to tell you this.
Nothing in my package is what I'm using except the training. But actually, at the end of the day, that's where the value is.
The value was in the training. Yeah.
The value, because and we would say it, but no one would hear it. You can get a WordPress site for free.
Yeah.
It's not getting a WordPress site. It's not even getting this plug in here. But it's how do I holistically put all this together?
And your WordPress sites were even limited.
And my WordPress site was the most limited you could get because I didn't want you to bring a plugin into the network that would cause the thing to crash.
Yeah.
So you didn't even have, you had limited freedom in paying a premium for a free product.
Yeah. My last dollars. Thank you so much.
Took this man's last dollars. I took another lady's last pennies that was running from an abusive husband, found herself living under a bridge in New Orleans. In her first week, made over 10 grand. Now,
That's good. That's good. I love hearing it. I love hearing it.
so, and here's the thing, Reagan. Back then, we didn't have financing.
Yeah.
So he had to come off the hip, everything got.
Yep.
Now we got a way you get started with as little as nothing down.
Yep.
So, guys, if you want to do something, what are you waiting on? You're not waiting on us.
But you got, look, the caveat is not everybody is going to get out there and work.
Yeah.
Right? So if you, like, you know, if you call me and you're like, hey, Chris, I want to come and be part of your team over there at TW3 Systems, I'm going to find out who you are.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, I think you're a worker or I think you're not a worker. If I don't think you're a worker, I'm going to tell you to go away.
Well, a shovel has no value if it's never picked up.
Right.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. What we're selling is not a magic pill. It's not a genie in a bottle. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
You could have $1 million in the bank, or you could have no money in the bank. I don't care.
Right.
But if you have that work ethic I'm looking for, I'll take it.
Come on. That's right.
Because that's what I got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look, we had ticket sale problems
Yeah.
with this conference, right? What did I do?
Technical problem.
I went out and I made some flyers, and I went door to door, business to business. I went to 125 businesses. I said, get here.
And you can go back and look too, because we have podcasts in 2019, 2018. We mentioned Chris, and it's stayed consistent. And you can look at the people that we build up as well. It typically stays consistent. It's that one thing that they have the work ethic.
The work ethic.
You don't have to convince them to work hard, provide for yourself, because they get it. Because they see the alternative is, well, I could go work for somebody else. I'm not doing that. And that's what that drive is. Making it happen for yourself, because who else is going to?
Nobody else is going to promote you like you will, right? Nobody else is going to look out for your interests like you will.
That's exactly. There is what we're selling to me in 2022 is the most valuable thing you can give somebody, but the most difficult thing to fight against some of the attitudes right now. And you can put it in the context of religion, politics, anything else. Let me talk to my religious crowd. If you're sitting back saying, I'm just waiting on God, then you're going to be sitting there. Because God says, I give you the power to gain wealth. He didn't say, I give you wealth. Everybody's got this mentality that some pundit, politician, or, pontificate is going to come save them. Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming. If you want out of wherever you're at, then you're going to have to get up, dust yourself off.
Yep.
Yes, it's unfair. Yes, things have happened that's wrong. But at the end of the day, you're right. Nobody cares for your well-being more than you do.
Okay.
Nobody cares for it more than Terry does. And that's just human nature.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying people shouldn't help. And I'm not saying there's not a place for help. And I'm not saying God doesn't help. He does.
Yeah.
But, it's not in the Bible where it says God helps those that helps themselves. That's not biblical. I know that. But he does say, choose you this day. He does say, for such a time as this. There's all kinds of passages.
If you're waiting for anyone else, you're always going to be waiting.
Yeah, if you're waiting for anybody. So all I'm saying is, and this might not be your thing.
That reminds me of a joke. There's this hurricane going on, right? And the area gets flooded. People are on top of their houses, and guys are coming through with boats to come and get them off their house. And they go up to this one old guy, and he's all like, "Oh no, God's gonna take care of me." Right?
I know this.
And so, all right. So another one goes by. Another boat comes by. Hey man, get on in here. No, I got it. God's gonna take care of me. All right. He goes on. Another boat comes by, and he's like, "Come on in here, man. You're up to your neck." No, God's gonna take care of me. And he drowns.
Yeah.
He goes up to the gates of heaven. He's all like, "I don't understand. Why didn't you take care of me? I sent you 3 boats. What more do you need?
What do you want from me?" I told that to Neil O'Reilly the other day, and he just died laughing. That's true. That's true. I mean, there's opportunity all around us. We've been talking at this conference about opportunities. We've been shooting videos about real estate things you're doing. We've been shooting videos about, invoice purchases that you're doing. All different ways that if we can just get our head out of our proverbial stressed out section and see what's around us, now's a good time to do something.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm promoting my new book right now.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that book was inspired by this conference. You call me up and say, "Hey, Chris," I'm in the hospital at the time. And I'm all like, "Terry, you're like, would you like to host a conference in Orlando?" I said, "Well, I got 30 days. Sure.
Sure. I ain't doing anything. I'm just in the hospital. I ain't doing anything.
And then I'm all like, well, if I'm doing that, I better write a book. So
might as well do that as well.
So I wrote that book in 12 days, got it in print, got it printed out, got it shipped, And then I've been selling it, and I've been putting stuff up on LinkedIn about it. You know, if your listeners are out there, look me up on LinkedIn, and they'll see all sorts of stuff about me out there in my coffee shop signing books for fans.
He has been promoted. Well, I'm running almost up on it. I'm going to have to cut this, but
This has been fun.
Been fun. Thank you for sharing your
Thanks
story.
for having me as part of the TW3 team here.
Absolutely.
And Reagan, you're awesome, bro. Good to see you on camera.
All right, we're back, and that was the conversation we had, and had to cut it short because my phone, we had used it as a video camera all day, and we had done a clubhouse that day, and we had done some other things with it during the time together, so couldn't do too much.
Yeah. No, I love that conversation because I think for us, what it provides, and it, like you said, it illuminates some things. It gives the greater context because especially when you just speak in a microphone, but you do it a lot,
Yeah,
you want to be careful that you're not double speaking.
absolutely.
And I think we're good at it because we're honest.
Yes.
It's easy to double speak when you lie about stuff, but you know, what that does in that conversation does, it gives the greater context of, yes, we understand, you know, we've thought about the other argument for this. We've thought about the reason why you couldn't. And we want to be sensitive to that.
Absolutely.
We're not in the business of, if you can't do it, that's okay. It's okay.
Well, my struggle is being oversimplistic on complex problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's my bone to pick with some of these people that says just buy this one type of insurance only, when 98% of the time that's probably right, but there is that 2% that you got to make a caveat for, an exception for. And it's the same way with this when I'm talking about entrepreneurialism, when I'm talking about, you know, self-efficacy, when I'm talking about self-actualization, when I'm trying to convince people, take a risk on yourself. It's worth it. You'll be happier in the long run, even if you don't find success immediately.
Yeah.
The pursuit of success is going to make you a better person, even if you never find it. So there's all these, I can say that full throat, but then in the context of talking about someone's livelihood, talking about taking a risk while they're under stress, I have just learned over the decade that I am better off, and as Chris said so harshly, I'd have been one that you threw away, and it wasn't I was throwing you away as a value as a person,
Right.
but as a profile.
Yeah.
You know, I teach something in the back office called pitch or ditch. You know, I find the ones I pitch to, and I ditch the ones I just don't think are either emotionally ready, intellectually capable, you know, and that's not me I'm trying to be protective, not only of them. I'm going to be selfish here. I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to protect my brand, because the only negative feedback I've ever received is from people that should have never, and I was even told, don't do
typically, I think. Yeah.
You know, because it's just emotionally they're not ready, financially they're not ready, or they're just not going to pick up on this, and it's not a reflection on them. Maybe they just, my teaching style and the way I communicate is not going to be the best for them. And so I'm just trying to throw out all those caveats, all those exceptions, buyer beware, don't, you know, and it's not that I'm trying to throw somebody away.
Well, the funny part is, we mentioned it in that conversation, but we joke with Chris all the time because he's got a really good line that he's used before.
Go away.
Go away. And he says, everything about my funnel says go away.
Go away.
But the thing is, and I think it speaks to the mindset that it takes, you know, it is difficult. It is. It's difficult to be an agent of your own business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you make money, you know, it's no one else. It's no one else but you. You know, you're held accountable. But you take somebody like Chris, and you know, I'm forgetting her name, but you know, you gave her testimony and her story, I guess, of how she joined our business. The lady that was down in New
Under the
Orleans.
bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, even though, you know, we sit here a lot, and I would say we say no more than we say yes. We give more reasons why you shouldn't do it than the reasons you should, more often than not. It doesn't matter, though, because when it comes down to it, you were either going to make it happen or you weren't.
Yeah.
You were either that person that goes, no. I mean, I look to you, and I look to Chris, and I look to, you know, other entrepreneurs in my life, and I'm like, I can see the hands you guys were dealt. I can see all of the roadblocks that you guys went through. I can see every quote unquote excuse, because I don't want to use that. I don't want to be dismissive.
It's not a dismissive, but yeah.
I don't look at it as just an excuse, but there's always going to be a reason why it's difficult.
Yeah.
And you can take somebody that has, $500,000 in their bank account, or somebody like Chris at the time who had 700 or 300, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Still made it happen.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it really does. It comes down to your mindset.
It really does. And when it's a nuanced problem, because it's not that I don't believe in anybody. I don't think you have to be exceptionally intelligent. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, studies show that if you have modest to average intelligence and have a persistency about you, you're way better than someone of high intelligence but low persistency. I mean, I saw those numbers. I mean, people put a lot of stock in intelligence, and there is a place for that.
Sure.
But just as much of a place for as intelligence is, and what we're talking about is the dichotomy between competency and character. Mm-hmm. Do I have the character says, I will not quit on myself, I will not quit on my family, I will not quit on life, I will not. That is a characteristic.
It is.
That is a character. I will not be stopped. You will have to kill me before I stop.
Can I brag on my wife for a second?
Absolutely.
Because it kind of segues a little bit.
Yeah.
I gave her a compliment this morning, and I mean it wholeheartedly, but I mention it here. Her class average for biology was a B plus, or excuse me, her average, what she made at the end of the grade was a B plus. The class average was a C minus. But she was telling me all the issues that she had taking her exams and all the issues she had getting into her lessons. And she was showing me all the emails that she had going back and forth with her instructor over, hey, I checked this grade. This wasn't right. Hey, we're trying to get into the lesson. It's a class of 25 people. The final exam had 2 people. And, I love my wife, but she's like me. We're both not great at certain aspects. I am not great at math.
Yeah.
That's just something I've always lived with, and that's fine. And she's not great with writing. She doesn't love writing and stuff. And then just so happened, for whatever reason, in this biology class, there was a lot of writing. I know that there were better people in the class that probably write better than her, probably speak better than her.
Yeah.
But she had the character to every day she was going in and she was holding her teacher accountable and making sure that she followed up on her work. She was taking the exam. She was taking that extra effort.
Yeah.
What we're talking about, she was making it happen.
Yeah.
She was going, I don't care. I have to pass this class.
Right.
It's not an option.
Failure is not an option.
Yeah, I want to be in this field.
Right.
To get there, I need this.
Right.
So at the end of the day, this is going to happen.
This is going to happen.
Regardless, it's going to happen. It's just how many roadblocks.
And it's going to happen when I'm sick. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen when things at the house are going sideways. And she works for a living.
Yep.
Family problems.
Yep.
Everybody, she's being touched by life, and that doesn't matter. It's going to happen.
There's 100 reasons why, she could have dropped this class, whether it been, working 50 hours a week, whether it been, deaths that were really unexpected. I mean, just big things in life, all while she was, but it didn't matter.
Right.
Same for Chris.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of reasons that this shouldn't work, but it did because Chris said, I don't care. It's going to work. I'm going to make it work.
This is going to happen.
And even at a little bit of our own, I don't want to say detriment, but just, poking fun at ourselves. We're not perfect at a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of things we could do that would make it easier for people like Chris.
Yeah.
Now, I would say as we've grown, we have really tried to mitigate,
yes.
we want to be on your team.
Right.
We want to.
We're here to serve our members and make them successful.
But we know that doesn't always happen.
No, because we've got our own limitations. Mm-hmm. And in full transparency, we released an app the end of last quarter, last year. And to this day, I'm still learning new components and how it works and how it integrates with others. It is such a diverse and comprehensive, not complex, but comprehensive piece of, it can be as complex as I make it, but it does literally anything. And we've got members that are outrunning us, outpacing us now.
For sure.
Because it can do so much. And then they get into a little bit of a corner and say, well, how do you do this? I hadn't even got that far yet with that particular.
Yeah.
I mean, because it does so much, but doesn't mean we're not there to help as much as we can. And a lot of times we have to send a...
take it to our dev.
Yeah, it's like...
We got to learn with you sometimes. But,
yeah, for real.
But yeah, I mean.
But the point is, you know, if you understand that, number one, you don't have to be the brightest bulb, as they say. You don't have to be the sharpest tool. It helps if you, all that means is your friction is less. That's all it means. But at the end of the day, you have to have that other component is, I'm going to do this. You don't have that, doesn't matter. I mean, because you'll just get lazy. I know there's so many things that I can do that's easy for me, but I don't do simply because I'm lazy about it. Yeah. And that's a character issue. Yeah. But there's a lot of other things I'm doing right now. I feel like I am 2 left feet, but I've found some success in it simply because I haven't quit. So, yeah. And we see it, you know, it's in all areas of life. We talk about business. This is a business show. Used an example of education, but you see it in sports too. Sports. I mean, how often do you see a team that really shouldn't be somewhere, but as we would say, us personally, we go, oh, there's some dogs. Oh, yeah. And they got some fight, you know. Absolutely. They're punching way above their weight, but hey. And at the end of the day, what is their mindset? I don't care. I'm going to make it happen. This is me. This is what we're doing. Yeah. And I love that. You know? Absolutely. You love to see it. Well, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. This is episode 520, Understanding People's Origins and Beginnings. It's so important, and I'm still going back to how we opened the show. How did Johnny Depp get hooked up with Amber Heard? Yeah. How in the world did that happen? I think Johnny Depp, I'm stealing from Joe Rogan, just a caveat, but I think he's right. Johnny Depp is somebody that, what it seems like, he's a really, really nice guy, like a genuine, caring guy. Yeah. That likes to live fast. He likes to live a little wild. Well, boy, he got a fast one. And when you got those two that pair, it's a dangerous combination, you know? He married a cage dog. Well, they're not married, are they? I have no idea, to be honest. I thought they were, but maybe they're not. I don't know. I know she did some things. That's what I know. I know she's got not a great lawyer. Or, no, I shouldn't even say that. Maybe that lawyer is fantastic, and she just has no case. Who knows? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it seems like more and more. Well, she's been asked to make chicken salad and been given chicken. I mean, yeah. I mean, here's my real quick. I guess, who thought it would be a good idea to bring the psychologist out there, though? Because the last time well, here's the other thing. You don't know how much that attorney has been lied to. Sure. Because if you notice, look how she kept framing how things were brought to her. Well, in Amber's mind, that might have been the reason, the rationale. Sure. And so the lawyer's coming in saying, well, this, you know, you said this, this, and this. I mean, why did you even, you know, trying to break down the character of the psychologist? Because I think from what I understand, the limited time I've watched this case, she is sort of testifying for Johnny's side and saying, well, I think what it is, because maybe it was one of those things where I've been watching Everybody Loves Raymond. That's one of the things. But it's like, maybe it's one of those things where they go to like a marriage counselor, and then like one of them gets like a little peeved off because like they thought they were going in just going to be like dunking on him, right? And then, you know, they break down what actually happened in the situation. They talk it out and they realize like, wait, they're on your side too? Well, this is BS. Yeah, I don't believe in this either. Maybe it was one of those things. Probably. Maybe she just got pissed because the therapist was on his side. Well, anywho, what a colossal waste of time, but it is so entertaining. I got to get my head out of that. Yeah, like I said before, it is trash. It is candy. It's entertainment candy. It's not good for you, but, you know. A little bit. In moderation, it's pretty fun. Make you appreciate your own life. Sure. Even, you know, at the worst time of my day, I can say, I'm not married to that. True.
Thank you for listening to our show today. If you have any questions or would like to speak with us about your goals, then please call or text us at 864-507-9696. Reach out to us online at terrywilson3.com.